Have you wondered what's the ecosystem in Antarctica is like? Greetings, we're from Group 2. Today we're going to talk about the ecosystems in Antarctica.
What is Antarctica exactly? Antarctica is the world's southernmost continent. It is also the driest, windiest, coldest, and iciest continent. It's the world's highest continent with an average elevation of 2.2 kilometers above the sea level. Now that we know what Antarctica is, now let's find out where Antarctica is. So, Antarctica is the southernmost continent. It is centered around the South Pole and largely around the Antarctic Circle. Its coastlines stretch by the Southern Ocean, the Southern Pacific Ocean, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans. Now, as you can see, we have a picture of Antarctica. Now we have a lot of icebergs around, pieces of ice, and the landmass is covered with ice everywhere.
You might be wondering why we chose Antarctica as our ecosystem for this project. It is because Antarctica offers remarkable beauty, which includes enormous plains covered in snow, dramatic coastlines, volcanic islands, and striking mountain ranges. Antarctica also offers a unique and spectacular visual experience. Abiotic and biotic factors. Abiotic means the non-living components that is located in Antarctica or the location. Biotic factors is the living components or the living components or the living things that located in the location. Right now, it's named Antarctica. So the abiotic factors is the temperature, the sunlight, the ice and water, and the mountains. The biotic factors is the animals, which stated whales, penguins, seals, fish, and the plants and the decomposers, which stated bacteria, fungi, and some worms.
Now here are the plants or producers of Antarctica. Now, as you can see, the first one is sea ice algae, which live under the icebergs but may fall to the seafloor. And then the second one is phytoplanktons, which may be carried under the icebergs by currents from open water regions. And then the third one is macroalgae, which are leafy seaweeds and algae that are attached to rocks and corals on the seafloor. Microalgae, very similar to macroalgae. So microalgae is microscopic algae that lives on the surface of seafloor sediments. Then finally, we have the Antarctic grass, which one of the examples are Antarctic hair grass. And as you can see, that there's a picture.
Native animals in Antarctica. Native means that the animals belongs to Antarctica and live in Antarctica. So, there are 4 types of consumers. There are apex consumers, tertiary consumer, secondary, and primary consumer. Apex consumers are large predators that have no predators of their own, and they are at the top of their food chain. A tertiary consumer is an animal that contains and obtains its nutrition by eating primary consumers and secondary consumers. The organisms that eat the primary consumers are called secondary consumers. They are usually meat eaters. Primary consumers are animals that eat plants. They are herbivores. The apex consumer here is sperm whale, orca, and the tertiary consumers stated are penguin, baleen whale, and seals. And the secondary consumers stated are fish, squid, and birds. And the primary consumers are the krill and the zooplanktons. Now, moving on, we have decomposers or the microorganisms. In this terrestrial habitat, decomposers such as bacteria, fungi, and some worms break down dead plants and animals to obtain their nutrients. These are the examples of bacteria, fungi, and worms.
Invasive species in Antarctica. Because of the melting ice in Antarctica brought on by climate change, Chilean mussels and king crabs are invasive species in the region ecology because they lack a natural predator. Extinct species in Antarctica. The largest member of the penguin order, the emperor penguin, is distinguished by its regal bearing and striking black and white coloring. Along Antarctica coastline, the species form about 50 colonies that settle on landmass, ice, and ice shelf. Emperor penguin are the rarest species of Antarctica penguins.
Now, as you can see, this is the Antarctic food chain. And then the producers, we have the phytoplanktons, which are eaten by the primary consumers, the zooplanktons, and these are herbivorous zooplanktons. There are also carnivorous zooplanktons. And then the primary consumers are krill. The other primary consumer is the krill, also the zooplanktons, which eat the phytoplanktons. And then the secondary consumers, we have other seals, other birds, fish, and squids. Now they all eat the zooplanktons and the quills. And then we have the tertiary consumers, which are baleen whale, leopard seal, and penguins, and elephant seal. Now they eat the secondary consumers, which are the seals, birds, fishes, and the squids. But some of them also eat the primary consumers, such as the quills. And then finally, we have the apex predators. So first we have the orcas, and second we have the sperm whale. Now, most of them they eat the tertiary consumers, but sometimes they do also eat the secondary consumers.
Antarctica upperwort. The perennial herb Columbanthus quintensis, sometimes known as Antarctica upperwort, belongs to the carpetweed family. Their form is self-supporting. They bear capsule-shaped fruit and have broad, simple leaf. Its dense growth pattern helps shield it from the cold, and its modest size and low growing habit assists it escape being buffeted by the wind. The plant is further shielded from the weather by the tiny hairs on its leaf, which aid in trapping warm air on it. The Yeti crab. Yeti crab is a species of blind deep sea crab that has long body bristles and decreased eyes. It resides close to the thermal vents. The crabs have to stack on top of each other and cling to the seafloor in order to survive. But the furry claws on the Yeti crab are what really set it apart. Long setae, which resemble bristles on hair, cover their pincers, allowing them to collect bacteria, which is their primary food source. That's it for our presentation, and thank you for listening.